Today we'll continue some of our presentation on the I Ching or Book of Changes. The last one we did, we talked about different books. We showed you different books and what they looked like and how they interpret it and so forth, which is very helpful, of course. And today, though, I'm going to focus on something a little different. We're going to talk about the six-line figures called hexagrams, 6 lines, made up of each one 2 trigrams, 3 lines. Now, the hexagrams are made up of 2 trigrams, one on the bottom and one on the top. One of the interesting things about that is when the I Ching is made up, the present edition we have, there's a reason why one hexagram follows another, not only because of the meaning, but the way they look on the page. For example, today we will be looking at this book here. This is by Jane Shore and Karen Dunn, Yi Jing, Wondering and Wandering. Now, the first section in here has pictures of what the actual hexagrams look like, the 6-line figure. For example, I'll show you number 1 here. This is the first one in the whole book. See how that looks? On the bottom of the page. Now, I'll show you the second one. Notice that they are extremely different from one another. The first is made up of all solid lines. The second one is made up of all broken lines. Now, normally in the I Ching, what happens is when hexagrams follow one another, that kind of thing doesn't happen, but instead they're turned on their heads. And I'll give you an example. Here's one here. This first one, which you see on the bottom, there's the other one. Notice they're turned on their heads. They're simply turned over. One is flipped over to the other side. Now that can be done because what's on one side, what's on the bottom, can be flipped and put on the top. What's on the top can be flipped and put on the bottom, as you can see there. But that's most of the hexagrams in the book. But as you saw in the very first hexagrams here, if you flip any of these over, they're going to turn out to be exactly the same as they were before. So there are certain hexagrams in the Book of Changes that do not flip over, because if you do, they'll turn out to be exactly the same as they were before. All hexagrams in the book otherwise are flippable. That is, they do change completely. Here's another good example. Number 43 and number 44. Here's number 43. Notice that.